Skip the rush and get ahead of your holiday shopping during Badcock's Black Friday sale. Now save up to 50% throughout the store, including select mattress sets. All with no credit refused. Don't miss your season to save. Only at Badcock. Badcock Home Furniture and More. Just right.
Like and follow News 1226 on Facebook for the latest up-to-date coverage near you.
From the station that's on your side, breaking news.
We have some breaking news to pass along this afternoon. President Biden has been briefed on a school shooting that happened in Michigan. 3 people are dead, at least 6 more shot at a school between Flint, Michigan and Detroit. A 15-year-old sophomore is in custody for this. Police believe all 3 people killed were students. They say they found a semi-automatic handgun. They believe 15 to 20 shots were fired, and police do think the teen acted alone. But just a horrific scene in Michigan, and as we learn more, we will certainly pass that along. Taking a live look now at the New York Stock Exchange, where the Dow closed for the day. Around 4 stocks dropped this morning. And Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell says financial conditions may get worse as the new Omicron variant causes a lot of uncertainty in the markets. He also said the uncertainty over the supply chain might cause inflation to rise into next year. So coming up in 10 minutes, we're going to hear more about the economy and the domino effect of all of this for us. The shortage of teachers in South Carolina schools has gotten significantly worse in just the last year. At the start of the school year, there were more than 1,000 school jobs open across the state. Mary Green breaks down a new report that's giving us more insight into all these unfilled positions.
The number of teaching vacancies across South Carolina this school year is more than a 50% increase from last year and nearly a 90% jump from just 2 years ago.
When more than 1,000 classrooms in South Carolina started this school year with a vacant teaching position, that means that we have thousands of students across our state that are at an educational disadvantage from the very start of the year.
The 2021 Educator Supply and Demand Report, released by the Center for Educator Recruitment, Retention, and Advancement, or SARA, compiles data collected from surveys of almost all of South Carolina's public school districts. The report attributes what it describes as the drastic increase in the number of vacant positions, in largest part to more teachers leaving their jobs. It says from last year to this year, nearly 7,000 educators left their teaching or service jobs, which include school librarians, counselors, and psychologists. That's more than a 15% increase in departures from the year before. According to the survey, most of the teachers left for personal or family reasons or to retire. Around a quarter of them took another teaching job in a different district in the state. In a statement, State Superintendent of Education Molly Spearman says this report is a stark reminder of the tremendous challenge our schools face in recruiting and retaining classroom educators, and should serve as a wake-up call for decision makers at the state and local levels to act quickly to make certain that every child is served by an outstanding teacher and reaches their full potential. Superintendent Spearman says the state is using part of its federal pandemic relief money on teacher recruitment programs and asking the General Assembly for more than $160 million to raise teacher salaries across the board. Reporting from the South Carolina Department of Education, I'm Mary Green.
The more than 1,000 vacancies at the start of this year is the highest that number has been in the 20 years the survey has been administered in South Carolina school districts. Sarah says it will request mid-year data from districts in February to try to track how many of those vacancies have been filled or if even more jobs open up. But that is a crisis. We need good teachers for our kids. Taking a look outside, we have
just about 10 minutes. Laura?
All right, thanks, Riley. A manhunt now scaling back. It's for a man wanted for several charges in the North Augusta area. Edgefield County deputies and 7 other agencies are looking for Travonta Langford, who's believed to be somewhere within a 5-mile radius from Sweetwater Road out to Highway 23. Langford is wanted on several charges, including kidnapping, criminal sexual conduct, and domestic violence. Deputies say they don't believe he's a threat to the community, only to the victim and their family. Langford is described to be 6'3", 240 pounds. He was last seen wearing black pants, a white shirt, black jacket, and a gray stocking cap. So if you see him, definitely call 911. Richmond County deputies say they're looking for this man who's wanted for a possible kidnapping. Authorities say James Tedder, also goes by Ted Tedder. He's wanted after a victim told them she was kidnapped by Tedder at a motel in Washington Road. This happened on November 20th, and it is also in connection to a man who reportedly had rooms at a sleep-in in a nearby suburban inn on Clawson Road. Tedder is described as 5'6", weighs 170 pounds, possibly drives a gold van. If you have any information, definitely call investigators. A man has been shot and killed after an attempted robbery at his home late Monday night in Thompson. The GBI says Frank Brinson was shot around 10:50 last night while two men trying to rob his home on Dallas Drive right down the road from the Thompson Canaan Heights Church. Brinson was then sent to the hospital, but he later died from his injuries. The GBI McDuffie County deputies say if you have any information, give them a call. We could have a decision by Friday about the lawsuit filed by SRS employees over the vaccine mandate. There was a hearing today in Columbia over that lawsuit. 79 former employees filed that suit last month after SRS announced it was going with the federal vaccine mandate and gave them their walking papers. The Biden administration announced yesterday they're holding off until January with letting anyone go who doesn't follow the mandate. So we don't know how or if that could impact the judge's decision in this case, but we will keep you posted. A 5-year-old is now dead after a 3-year-old shot them to death on Thanksgiving. That shooting happened in an apartment building in South Fulton near Atlanta, just 30 minutes south of Atlanta, when that 3-year-old accidentally fired the gun, killing his cousin. The gun was found under a sofa cushion. The grandmother said the father was in the home at the time of the shooting. The child's mother died earlier this year. Now the family is coping with the loss of them both.
That ain't something that you can really live with. I mean, accidents do happen. They happen every day. It's just something you try to cope with.
Cannot even imagine what that family's going through. Detectives say they have questions and concerns, obviously, as to how the child got a hold of that unsecured weapon in the first place. They are investigating, but just a tough time for that family. Pfizer is expected to seek a
The suspect, Travonta Langford, is still on the loose tonight.
Langford's believed to be within a 5-mile radius from Sweetwater Road over to Highway 25. Law enforcement have made a makeshift headquarters out in the area, but the sheriff tells us they plan to move back now to the sheriff's office. But Langford is wanted for several charges, including kidnapping and criminal sexual misconduct. So now, after 60 hours of searching, they say it won't be long before he's back behind bars.
He's going on, 60 some odd hours now of no food, no water. He's been on the ground. He should be in dire need of food and water by now.
Sheriff Rowland says they're still going to keep boots on the ground, just in fewer numbers.
Multiple people have been injured, 3 dead after a shooting at a Michigan high school. It happened this afternoon, and this is a look at the scene earlier. One person is in custody. We're told police have recovered a handgun. The shooting happened just before 1 o'clock this afternoon in Oxford. That's just 30 miles or so north of Detroit. So far, between 4 and 6 victims are reported to be injured. A federal lawsuit affecting local employees, and today, a judge in Columbia heard the case. Nearly 100 employees are suing the Savannah River site. They claim requiring vaccinations against COVID is beyond the company's legal rights. Our Sloan O'Cone joins us now live in the newsroom. She was in the courtroom today. Sloan, what can you tell us?
Well, today is the deadline for SRS employees to be fully vaccinated. So for these plaintiffs, tomorrow they will be under what SRS is calling unpaid leave. There's a lot of frustration and disappointment. That was all taking place in the courtroom, and there was a pretty big turnout. The main argument from the plaintiffs is that SRS is placing them into a, quote, repugnant choice between their job and health. They're saying it's irreputable harm, not for financial loss, but for the principle. The plaintiffs allege the lawsuit resembles a contract the employees did not agree to. They allege SRS is using unauthorized practice of medicine because a corporate doctor overlooks the papers for medical exemptions, and because they say vaccines are, quote, not fully vetted and checked. The defense says the mandate isn't a contract, but something you need to keep working, similar to a drug test, contingent on passing. The defense did not explain what requirements someone would have to meet in order to be medically or religiously exempt. And the plaintiffs say this is a one-size-fits-all sledgehammer.
For a company to state that they will follow the law and provide religious accommodations and a process to evaluate us, and then to deny us all without even attempting to negotiate, especially when accommodations were so easily available. It just really, really stinks.
The judge says she expects to have an answer by Friday. And coming up on News 12 at 6 o'clock, I'm working on a story diving deeper into the specifics of the hearing and how employees feel leaving the courtroom today knowing they don't have work tomorrow.
A lot of controversy in this decision. Thanks, Sloan. The University of South Carolina says its plan to comply with a federal mandate requiring employees impacted by a federal contract to be vaccinated. Now, according to the school, designated employees have to be fully vaccinated against COVID by January 18th or get approval to be exempt. That will apply to full-time, part-time, even student employees. During a visit to USC-Aiken today, we asked Governor Henry McMaster his thoughts. Here's what he had.
There's nothing in the Constitution that says that the federal government can require a citizen to take a vaccination. This is an instance where the federal government is overreaching. Clearly, we believe, and we would urge everyone to be conscious of the fact that these are being challenged right now, and we hope to be successful.
Governor McMaster was visiting USC-Aiken to re-sign the revised military tuition rate bill. That bill allows for veterans or their dependents on the GI Bill to get in-state tuition even if they're living out of state.
Millions of dollars for some very big projects, and now you can track it all online. The City of Augusta just launching this new website where you can track the progress of the local SPLOST 8 and TIA 2022 projects. You can scroll over any of these markers no matter where you live and get the estimated start date, estimated end date, and how much the project will cost. Down here in South Augusta, this one pops up, Hepzibah McBean Road resurfacing for $4.3 million. Now, eventually they're going to upload some pictures to match all of these markers, and city leaders say they hope this dashboard will help with transparency and allow them to give us real-time updates on the progress.
Taking you out now live to downtown North.
In just about 10 minutes.
She's on the ground. She's on the ground. She's on the ground. Is she conscious? No, not really.
New today, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division just releasing that 911 call following the accident that led to the death of Gloria Satterfield. She was the former family housekeeper of the Murdaugh family. The caller, who appears to be Maggie Murdaugh, telling the dispatcher Satterfield fell walking up some brick steps outside. The dispatcher repeatedly asking if Satterfield is conscious. Since the death of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh, though, Satterfield's death and a wrongful death settlement that was supposed to have been paid to her family have garnered national attention. In September, SLED opening a new investigation into Satterfield's death.
All right, heads up, Richmond County parents. The school system is looking ahead to the next 2 school years, and they need your help. They are deciding between 2 options. They have calendar option A and calendar option B. Option A has 4 power-up days. That's where students will have to do schoolwork from home. It also includes 2 early release days on the last day of each semester. Option B, it does not have any power-up days. Instead, students will have 4 early release days. Now, keep in mind, both of these options, they have the same start and end date. They have the same Thanksgiving, winter, and spring breaks. Parents, you do have until December 8th to vote on your preference. We've got a link on our website. After the results are in, the district will present their recommendation at their board meeting coming up on the 14th. Across the river, some alarming news coming out of a new report. The South Carolina Center for Educator Recruitment and Retention says more than 1,000 teaching and service positions were still vacant in September and October of this year. That's an increase of more than 50% compared to last year. This is the largest number of vacancies reported by districts since this report started in 2001.
I want to show you ground zero for Omicron, the newest COVID strain that's spreading across the globe right now. It was first reported in South Africa, and scientists there are doing some research into the strain's origins. They grow live Omicron, then test it against the blood of fully vaccinated people, as well as those who were previously infected. The variant has more than 50 mutations, more than 30 in the spike protein, making it easier to attach itself to human cells.
What's critical now over the next week or 2 is to really see in the data what the pattern is there. Is there an increasing rate of infections in the vaccinated and what is the severity of disease in those individuals.
There has been an uptick in infections among young people in South Africa, but scientists are confident existing vaccines will still prevent serious illness and hospitalizations.
Coming up, a wrong number, a group chat, and a story one group of teenagers will never forget. Coming up, hear how these kids got to meet some of the best players in the NFL. This is a fun one.
And we've got the first alert weather team
Friday into this weekend. But overall, just looking at nice weather all the way into your Saturday and Sunday.
Sounds like fun out there, Riley. Thanks so much. It started with a group text and a wrong number, and now a high school basketball team has a story they will never forget.
This is so great. Jamie Edmonds shows us how these Michigan freshmen accidentally got to meet some of the best football players in the country.
The group text for the Notre Dame Prep freshman basketball team was created to talk about practice and ride sharing. Vinny Tartaglia was in charge of adding cell phone numbers.
We were trying to add people, and the last person to be added was Luca, and I was the one that was trying to add him, but I mistyped the phone number, and it was one digit off.
So last week, a stranger, not their teammate Luca, was suddenly included. So then he said, "Do you know who I am? You guys did it," and that's the picture he sent.
And he said, "I can promise you I'm not Luca," before sending it.
So he said, "I'm Sean Murphy Bunting," and they didn't know who he was, and then I said, he's in the NFL.
The guy texts the group this picture of Michigan native and Tampa Bay Buccaneer cornerback Sean Murphy Bunting.
And everyone was just skeptical, because, it's definitely not an NFL player, right?
Soon the group text ran its course, but that's not the end of this story. All of a sudden, a FaceTime call came in.
Leonard Fournette kind of just walked us around the locker room and showed us all the players. So I'll start from Sean Murphy Bunting, Leonard Fournette, Levante David, Mike Evans, Richard Sherman, and then at the end we were just like, where's the GOAT?
Yes, even the GOAT joined the FaceTime call, and everyone about lost their minds.
And I'm a Michigan fan too. And I told him, oh, go blue, we're gonna be OSU.
The Super Bowl champions made these boys' year in just about 30 minutes time.
They didn't have to do that for us. They could have easily just said, "I'm gonna leave this group chat," and then they could have just left.
So how did this epic FaceTime call end? With Murphy Bunting saying, "Ball out this season."
I think Tampa Bay has some brand new fans.
Sure, but I like what you said. Wait a minute. Did Luca not get in on this FaceTime, this epic FaceTime call?
Luca's phone number is one off of an NFL player, so he was left out of the thing. I guess he joined it later on.
Hopefully yes, because that's not fair to poor Luca.
Yeah, bummer,
but
yeah.
What a cool
Good
experience.
I love that for Tampa Bay and for the NFL. That's just a great move. Well, if you're looking for Christmas gifts, and we all are, you're going to want to...
On the line, call 999-9999.
Under Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, Georgia's election laws are changing.
And changing for the better. We've increased security for absentee ballots by adding verification with your driver's license number or state ID. Just as easy and more secure. And Georgia verifies citizenship to ensure that only American citizens are on the voter rolls.
Secretary Brad Raffensperger is securing Georgia's elections. Visit securevotega.com to learn more. Paid for by Help America Vote Act.
We can't handle a bumper car case, but if you've been hurt in a serious accident, George Sink Injury Lawyers is here for you. We're available to take your call, nights, weekends, 24/7.
Follow News 1226 on Twitter to keep informed with the latest happening near you.